I promised we'd talk about NFTs, and I know you're tweeting about it everywhere, and you're really excited about your own NFT projects. I'm curious what your NFT project is going to bring to the table that most others aren't.
So because your audience probably doesn't care about my anime, manga, and video game marketplace coming up, I will say this. NFTs are going to change the world. So when I was your age, I wasn't aware of what was happening with the internet from an opportunity perspective. I was too focused on trying to get into film and sort of all of my confusion around that. And I was just too young to have that kind of context. I didn't grow up with the internet. When a moment like this comes along, it's only going to come along 3 or 4 times in your life. And so to see where it's going, the whole point of it is to project out and say, okay, 3 years from now, this is going to be this thing. And if you start skating now to where the puck is going to be, in 3 years, there's just unbelievable opportunity. So my ask of people is don't take my word for it. I already told you that I'm not sure that I'm right. All I'm saying is go do the research, because if you ignore this, you're going to kick yourself. If you end up coming to the conclusion, oh, I think Tom's wrong. In 3 years from now, this is a joke. It was a fad. It's going to go away. If you make that decision after doing research, fair enough, because maybe I really am wrong. But I will just say this, I'm not wrong. Trust me on this one. It's going to change everything. I am betting just an extraordinary amount of money and time on the fact that the blockchain and now things that previously couldn't be turned into code can now be turned into code. The amount of creativity that's happening sort of in the like geeky part of the community right now is ultimately going to hit the mainstream. So for instance, I'll just tell anybody, no one will ever again be able to come to a Tom Bilyeu live event that's mine, right? I might speak at somebody else's, but you'll never be able to attend one of my events without buying an NFT. So already, if you want to show up to one of my events, you're going to have to know how to do that, because it just doesn't make sense. Because I can give you buy a ticket now, I can reward you for that 10 years from now in a way that I wouldn't have been able to previously. And by the way, you could sell that. So you could say, well, I attended that event and now I see what Tom does to nurture his community. I've now 10x'd my money just from having gone to that one event 10 years ago. I now want to sell that to somebody else. That was never possible before. And that's like but one simple example of where this is going. And yeah, I mean, it's just, people need to ask themselves only if I carry enough credibility with what I've done in my past. Okay, I've built 3 multi-million-dollar companies in 3 wildly divergent areas. One, I started as an employee and worked my way up to owner of that company. I became so valuable to the company, they fucking gave me a piece of the company, helped that become a multi-million-dollar company. Okay, that was success number 1. Number 2, Quest Nutrition, billion-dollar company, 57,000% growth in its first 3 years alone. I understood social media before it was even called social media. That's exactly one of the reasons we built a billion-dollar company. I go from software to nutrition and manufacturing to now media, and I've already built another multi-million-dollar company in that 3 wildly divergent areas. All I'm saying is, with that credibility, I'm asking you to do one thing: do your research. That's it. Look at crypto. I think that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin probably specifically, maybe Ethereum as well, will probably, this is not financial advice. I do not know what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to investment. I'm simply telling you what to look at. But I want to be clear. I think a massive wealth transfer is happening. I think this is a once in 100 years moment, maybe more. I think Michael Saylor called it a once in 1,000 year or 10,000 year moment where we're literally giving birth to an entirely new asset class. You need to research it. By all means, reject it. By all means, do research and then say, this is fucking stupid. I'm super open to that. But remember, what drives me? Danny, what drives me? I want to see other people win. Yeah. I'm already rich as a motherfucker. So this isn't about me. I'm saying, hey, boys and girls, this is your chance. Do some research. Look at it. If you think it makes sense, then address it accordingly. I just do not want people saying, nobody said anything. Nobody told me. I didn't know what was going on. People need to do research. I'm very optimistic that your generation will recognize how important ownership and investing is.
What was the moment when you were like, this NFT, this is going to be a thing. This is going to be the future. Was there a moment where it clicked for you?
6 years ago, a guy told me about what he called VATOMs, V atoms, and now, of course, we would call NFTs. And he showed it to me and I looked at him and I said, Eric, that's going to change my business forever. And then I promptly forgot about it because the technology wasn't there. I should say I filed it away in my mind because it wasn't ready yet. It would have been a waste of time for me to put energy into it at that point. Then when NFTs as art started popping off, I was like, now's the time. And because I had already been primed for it, I knew what it was and immediately made a multi-7-figure investment into building out platforms, plural, and what we're doing to answer the actual question you answered. So how do you make a better user experience? So right now, the user experience for the artist is very awkward. Creating smart contracts is very hard if you want to do any level of complexity. The sites feel old, antiquated, and awkward. So it's like really hard to find what you want. They're not using AI yet. So we'll be using AI, just making a better interface and then carrying this massive technological burden because I have the economies of scale where I can afford to throw millions of dollars at it and not need to monetize it from you. So we're doing that. So we'll have better smart contracts, better interface. I am very good at building communities. So we'll have the most thriving community, and we're doing things for artists behind the scenes that nobody else is doing. We've already lost probably hundreds of thousands of dollars just in the consulting that we've done for artists, all before we're going to make a dime. And by the way, we don't trap artists. So most platforms try to make it so if you mint on their site, you have to stay on their site. My thing is, I'm going to spend millions of dollars making this the greatest experience ever. I'm going to work with you, consult with you, do marketing for you, all of it for free. And then if you're not happy with me for any reason, you can leave and I won't penalize you, won't ask you for any money. You can just go whenever the hell you want. In the dead of night, you could skulk off without ever saying a word. Because I know if I do that and hold myself accountable to outperforming everybody else in the space, I'll become the place to be. And that's just the only way to do business in this era of hyperconnectivity.
In the era of hyperconnectivity, being a good person wins, right? And you're putting that out at scale. You put that out at scale with Quest. You put that out with your content every day.